I want to look poor and be wealthy and free, not look rich but be broke and struggling. But when I say look poor, I don't mean looking like I live on a bench. I mean living modestly. There's a huge difference in what wealth actually looks like and what advertisers have convinced us wealth looks like. And we'll expose that difference in a second. But in today's video, I want to share 5 reasons I think it's so important to look poor. Looking poor gives you financial peace. Freedom from financial stress isn't something you can buy, even on an ultra high salary. Because financial peace isn't something you buy, it's something you keep. A good example of this is basketball player Ben Simmons' story. Ben was a superstar player that earned about $30 million in his first year and bought several high-end properties. But after a rocky start and team issues, he began sitting out matches until he was fined very heavily. Then news started to spread about a return to the same team he took a stance against just to cover his bills. Just one of his properties was costing him over $133,000 a month in just taxes and insurance. This goes to show that no amount of money can buy you peace of mind if you're spending everything you got. And maybe you're thinking that this is just rich people problems. But I argue that us regular people do the same or even worse when we have car payments that are 30% of our take-home pay, or we have mortgage or rent 40+% of our take-home salary, just to look as if we have it all figured out. We might look well put together, but we're just adding financial stress and chaining ourselves to a job. The person that has a car that doesn't have much payments, or the person that's living well below their means, is financially freer and they're experiencing more peace. Looking poor gives you freedom. There's a story about freedom that I absolutely love called The Monk and the Minister. 2 boyhood friends grew up together and went their separate ways. One became a humble monk and the other became a minister to the king. Years later, they met up, and the minister, dressed in his fine garments, took pity on his thin-looking friend the monk. Wanting to help his boyhood friend, he said to him, "You know, if you could learn to serve the king, you wouldn't have to live on rice and beans." The monk then replied, "You know, if you could learn to live on rice and beans, you wouldn't have to serve the king." J.L. Collins writes about financial independence and used this story to share how living below your means can give you options. The monk in the story understood that he could be his own master if he could control his own desires. To tie it back to intentionally looking like you're poor, choosing to live below your means gives you financial flexibility. Looking poor isn't the goal, but if you don't need to look like you're rich, you can walk away from most things if you're living modestly, saving and investing. And please hit like to help spread this video in the algorithm. It helps out a lot. You can go ahead and do it. I'll wait. I won't look at you. Is it done? You're the best. Thank you. Looking poor makes life less complicated. They never talk about the problems that come with having more things. Take the typical movie example of one home to live in and a vacation home on the beach. Beach properties can be a nightmare because they are prone to corrosion, rusting, and defects, making it potentially a money pit if it's not being rented out when you're not there. 2 homes also mean 2 mortgages, 2 tax and insurance bills, double the maintenance, and double the risk. But the biggest cost isn't even financial. The biggest cost is your freedom. Because if you're paying for a vacation house, then you probably won't want to go anywhere else. Being able to maintain it will also impact the offers you take and opportunities you pursue, as well as your monthly budget, so you're going to change your day-to-day living. Choosing to live modestly is much less complicated. It's not living poorer, it's living with a lighter load, so you're not stretched thin emotionally and financially. And honestly, having less stress and less things to take care of usually means I'm in a mentally healthier place, and I'm sure you feel the same, and that's priceless. Looking poor takes you out of the rat race. Most people get trapped in the rat race because we're trying to prove we're successful based on how media, advertising, and groupthink have defined it. Take Christian Bale. When he's playing a wealthy person in the movies, he drives a Lamborghini. But when he's living his life as a real wealthy person, he's rolling around in his 2003 Toyota Tacoma. In many movies, they'll even show middle-class people buying a new vehicle to celebrate a promotion or for their partner as a surprise, when in reality, that's a huge financial burden on a family that would generally be discussed in advance.
Did you seriously buy a car without asking me?
Well, because for Christmas...
This is a major purchase!
Right, but it was a December to remember.
It's a Lexus! We don't have the money for this, Nathan!
Choosing to live below your means takes all that power away from society and marketers and puts that power squarely back into your hands. Most people making over $250,000 a year are driving Toyotas, Hondas, and Fords. It shows that they're really only concerned with what they're doing and not what other people are thinking. If you're trying to show that you've become successful, every time you do better, you have to buy better, and that's just really expensive and exhausting. Looking poor attracts the right people. Looking like you're rich can attract people that want to be around you for reasons other than who you are. Social climbers, big spenders, or even just straight up takers. I witnessed this firsthand with the guy I went to university with. He used money to draw people in. The first time he and I went out to a bar together, we sat at a counter and not too far away had these two girls sitting down as well. And he immediately started talking about how much money he spent last night. I was young and dumb, so I didn't pay attention to it, but other people in the bar did. Word got around that there's this rich guy at the bar, and some people started acting fake nice toward him, some people were just aggressive for no reason, and the two girls did come across and sit with us, but they drank, ran up the tab, and then left the bill to him. And that was just one of many times that people did this kind of thing to him, because he always wanted to look like a person that was rich. I think if he chose to live below his means and not show off at places that he went to, that he would have had an easier time finding real connection. So what have advertisers convinced us wealth is, and how is it wrong? Looking wealthy is portrayed in advertising and media as luxury. It's always a type of hyper-consumerism, where even a middle-class family might have a holiday house, maybe a small boat, and a European vehicle. But this isn't actually wealth. This is just hyper-consumerism. And it doesn't tell us anything about someone's wealth. It just tells us what they spend.
Listen, I got Rolls Royces outside. I don't got no money to pay for gas. I'm in this big house. I'm saying, when these motherfuckers gonna come take my house? Yeah.
This is called consumer engineering. And it's why you can see someone that's on a pretty similar salary to you look like they're doing much better than you, when we both know the numbers just aren't numbering. There was a famous research paper about the habits and lifestyle of American millionaires that was turned into a book called The Millionaire Next Door that debunked this hyper-consumerist idea. It found that the average millionaire's lifestyle was very different from the public's idea of what being wealthy looks like. Quote, they think millionaires own expensive clothes, watches, and other status artifacts. We have found this is not the case. And it's supported by stories like this. Quiet, secret multi-millionaire leaves tiny New Hampshire hometown his fortune. Another secretive millionaire leaves her fortune to her hometown. Sylvia Bloom hid a $9 million fortune, and she joins a list of apparently secret millionaires. Where are these people coming from? Wait, there's a whole list? There's a list of these people? Jeez. Despite common belief, most millionaires live a more minimalist, frugal lifestyle and pursue wealth to have financial security and freedom, while people that don't have wealth think of wealth as a measure of how much luxury they can buy. This article followed what 14 lottery winners did with their money. Bob spent $1 million of his winnings on the marijuana cause, of course. Lara and Roger bought a $670,000 mansion out of a $1.8 million winnings. Sarah did buy a house for her family, but the article says she got breast implants for her sister as well. I'm not gonna just skip that one. My favorite of this by far was Wrestlicious. And the statistic is that 70% of lottery winners declare bankruptcy. That statistic shows the difference between people that get wealthy and people that think of wealth as a measure of how much luxury they can buy. And that difference is why it's so important to look poor. Watch this video next.